I'm Maddie. I'm the founder of Gaia Smiles. I got my little jars in front of me. I'm a very excited, enthusiastic partner of Portia-ella, and I'm so excited to be here with you.
I'm gonna be completely honest with you. To start this life, I never tried tooth powder before portia-ella. So then I think it was Candace, my boss, that got me into it. She was like, "Oh, you should try it. Like, you're gonna love it." And I was like, I don't know. Like, you're always a little bit skeptical in the beginning because you're like,
a powder? I grew
yeah,
up on foamy pastes.
I know you're so used to that, like feeling, and you just. Anyways, I was just a little bit skeptical about it. I was just like, I don't know. But then I tried it, and I was like, your world changes. After I tried it, I think I'm gonna convert my whole family into it because it's really good.
Good. And I feel like the adjustment, we'll get into like how to use it in just a second, but I feel like the adjustment for people is like, okay, it doesn't foam. I'm not so sure. It's like a different texture. And then I think what really sells people on like what I hear back the most is like, I tried it for a day or two. I wasn't sure, but then I realized that I didn't get the fuzzy sweaters as much on my teeth. And it's, as we're going to get into, it's because we're treating our mouth as a digestive organ, as an organ that is full of bacteria and needs to be treated as such. And then you're converted, because when you don't need like burning peppermint to freshen your breath.
But yes, I definitely understand that. And you know what? Like for me with toothpastes, the biggest thing was that I got such a burn around my mouth.
Yeah.
Because it was so strong, and then my mouth would be burning. I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to spit this. Ugh, I couldn't do like for 30 seconds because it would just like burn my mouth. It was terrible. I hated it.
Yeah. It is. It's a lot, and there's a lot of ingredients. I don't like to go too far into that because you can do your own research and do your own thing. But yeah. I found that when I stopped using like toothpaste and conventional stuff, I stopped getting like sores in my mouth. I stopped getting a lot of the irritations that I was having all the time. Yes. And started to actually be able to like trust and understand the inside of my mouth.
My first question would be, what is holistic oral care? Because that's what you said on your website, right? Holistic oral care?
Holistic, yeah. Holistic oral care, holistic oral health care. So I love the word holistic. I am a registered holistic nutritionist, and that is the inspiration for what we're doing. And what that basically means in regards to our mouth is viewing it as a piece of our body, because there's this real disconnect with our mouths where you go to the dentist and they take care of the mechanical stuff and maybe you get a cleaning, but we're not thinking about the whole body. Our mouths are one of the most absorbent parts of our bodies. So anything that goes in your mouth, whether or not you swallow what's going in your mouth, it is circulated through your bloodstream, because anything that goes into your mouth is like absorbed through your cheeks and through your gums. Yeah. And with that, we think about that. We also, as a company, think a lot about sustainability and our holistic impact on our environment, on our communities. And we just don't want to live in a vacuum at all. So I really love talking about holistic oral care in the sense of we want to take care of our teeth. Absolutely. We want to take care of our teeth and gums. We want to take care of that absorbent and being careful of what's going into our body. And then just to like add the ribbon on top of that, we want to be thinking about the routines, and anything that we're doing every single day needs to feel good and be serving us and be a source of positivity.
And you know what? Like you were talking about how our body absorbs everything. I don't think people realize it. I don't think people understand that your mouth, your skin absorbs literally everything you put in, like in on you. And it's funny that I had a meeting with one of the brands, and she was saying, I did a study and there was a newborn baby that had like parabens in their body. And then the doctors were wondering, like, how come does he have like parabens in his bloodstream? It's because the mom wasn't taking care of whatever she was putting on her skin, and that went straight to the baby. So everything you put in your skin and your mouth goes straight to your bloodstream, even if you swallow it or not. People don't feel that. That's the way nicotine patches work, or birth control patches. You put it in your skin, goes into your bloodstream. People don't realize.
And it's so important to make sure that we're intentional about those ingredients.
Yeah. And my mom, she's probably looking at us right now, she had a problem with her thyroid. I think I'm saying that right?
Yeah.
a long time ago, and then she had this doctor. She was saying, you gotta watch every single thing you do, your toothpaste, your deodorant. Back then, that was a thing that we were like, no, thank you. Like, no, because we don't think about it. And my mom,
but I want to smell like cucumbers,
right? And my mom at that time, she was just like, you know what, like, no, this is too much. But now that I'm into portia-ella, and now that a couple of years have passed, she understands that everything in your body is all connected. So when you treat your mouth, if you treat with anything that you're not really paying attention to the ingredients, that's going to go into your bloodstream, and that's going to affect your whole body.
Absolutely. It's so important. And I think that being intentional about it not only like removes the negative, but it creates this relationship of like trust with yourself, where you're like, I am sometimes investing a little bit more. A lot of times it's the same price to find a lot of natural stuff. And you're like, I chose this intentionally and I know what's going on to my body. And I think that's just like a really powerful kind of energy shift.
Me too. I agree with you. Okay, so let's go a little bit further into it. What is the tooth powder? So a lot of people are used to the toothpaste. I feel like there's a lot of people here that haven't heard about tooth powder, but I have mine in here.
Yeah.
Little pot like this, just to show the guys how it works. Mine is full because it's a brand new one. Look at that. So it's a powder like this. It's super easy to use. Do you want to explain a little bit how to use it?
Yeah, I totally have mine too. Twins. So these guys, it's actually, you can see the kind of texture of it. It's a lot softer than it looks. That's just the you can see they break apart very easily. That's just the clay starting to like clump up a little bit. So what you do to use a tooth powder is, one thing to make sure is you do want to make sure that your lid is closed when you're not using it, because any humidity like in your shower and things like that will start to allow it to clump. But as long as it's closed, rarely a problem. So you're going to take your tooth powder, you're going to open it up, and you're going to take your wet toothbrush, just like a makeup brush. I like to tap off the excess water before putting it in. And you just take what sticks to your toothbrush. So this is like really, really not a lot. This is my bamboo toothbrush. I made the switch this year and I love using bamboo. So I use soft bristle toothbrushes, and you go in, and rather than using like a hard bristle and like go in and really hard, I take a little bit more time, about 2 minutes, and I add just a little bit more water to this, or sometimes you add it like while you're going if you have a dry spot. Yeah. And you just brush like no, you just use that. And what tooth powder allows is, because we're not introducing liquid, we get a longer shelf life while it's closed, because we don't have to add stabilizers or preservatives. That's really, really important to me. Yes. Because of what we just talked about, we don't want to be preserving what's inside of our body, and they don't know the difference between preserving your toothpaste or preserving your skin. So we use that, and then you use your tooth powder morning and night, just like any toothpaste. It completely replaces it. And the biggest thing that people notice is their mouth starts to balance out, so you don't get as much like bad breath a couple of hours after brushing, and you don't get as much like plaque overgrowing.
Mm-hmm. So what ingredients are in this? This is my question. So you don't need to tell me all ingredients, but like what is the clay?
So the materials, actually, the base is made from bentonite clay, which has been shown in a lot of recent studies to remove plaque and break through the plaque biofilms without being super abrasive like a lot of toothpastes. So these guys are quite soft. We also use calcium carbonate, which is a natural remineralizing agent, and xylitol. So xylitol makes this really cool like smooth layer over your teeth, which still allows them to breathe and remineralize through your saliva. And that calcium carbonate also helps with sensitivity in teeth. So it just like helps kind of the whole thing. And then we also use organic essential oils to flavor.
Yes, which is so good.
Yeah.
I have a question. My teeth are quite brittle, and I'm worried that without fluoride, I'll get more cavities. What does your toothpaste use instead of fluoride to combat tooth decay?
So we use xylitol. Xylitol is kind of an up-and-coming natural alternative to fluoride, and that does help to prevent decay and to create a slippery layer over your teeth, so plaque aren't able to like penetrate into your tooth the same way. I have found a lot of success with it, but you do need to talk to your dentist or dental hygienist. Another thing that some people have done, if they have sensitive teeth or they've been recommended by their dentist that they do need to be using fluoride, is they'll use the tooth powder because it keeps their mouth super nice and clean, and then use a fluoride-based mouthwash. So you can get alcohol-free fluoride-based mouthwashes, and I would definitely recommend finding something alcohol-free, but that kind of helps to allow you to have the best of both worlds.
I see. I love that. And you know what? Who knows? Maybe in the future, Gaia Smiles will have something like that. Who knows? Giving us ideas.
Yeah, we've got some things in the works, some more natural versions. We have a peppermint tooth powder.
Which is this one.
Yeah, this one right here. This one tastes like peppermint. It's a little bit more like gentle than you're gonna get from your regular toothpaste. Those ones use an artificial menthol. And that I find that it burns and it like sours in my mouth after a little while.
Yeah.
So we use organic peppermint oil, and that just gives you like a nice light refreshing peppermint without the kind of like burn your face off. And there's
that after, it gives it like an aftertaste of peppermint. Not while I'm brushing it. While I'm brushing, it doesn't feel like much, but then after I can taste the peppermint.
Yeah. So, and it's natural, so it kind of like goes away naturally and your mouth just like tastes more balanced. We also have original. I love to talk about original because I feel like we maybe didn't do it service with the name. Original has clove and eucalyptus and lemon, and this blend is very herbal and it's also like very healing. So clove is one of the top ingredients for helping with sensitivity, helping with tooth pain, and the essential oils, peppermint does this as well, but clove is like the superstar for it. They, I kept saying clove original is underrated. It totally is.
It is.
Like, everyone needs to swap to original. It's so good.
Because of the name, I don't know. I think original people think it's no flavor, but it's not no flavor.
So this guy with the clove and all of those essential oils, they block something called quorum sensing. So we have plaque in our body and they're super advantageous, and they have a really good communication system. So if you've ever gone to a movie and like drank a Coke while you're watching the movie, and by the end you're like, oh my god, my teeth are covered in plaque, you get those like fuzzy sweaters.
Yeah.
It's in part because of the sugar, but it's also because any of the plaque that are in that area are like, yo dudes, we got a feast. And they swarm like ants into these areas, and they're able to just like start replicating themselves. So we block with the essential oils, similar to like a really loud noise, the frequency of the essential oil like blocks that communication system because they're so tiny, and their communication method is like amazing until you block it with something natural and like super tasteful. And the other thing about original that I get all the time, which is totally unexpected, is people say that it tastes like Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola?
Coca-Cola. So
I think it's so funny. I need to try this now.
You need to try this one. I think it's like the subtle aftertaste that you get tastes a little bit like those Coke balls.
And you have a new one, right?
So this is our activated charcoal. This is a brightening tooth powder. This guy is a little bit more messy. This is for use, we recommend like once a week or twice a month, and it's got activated charcoal, so it's super detoxifying for your mouth. So those bacteria that are in our mouth that are like hanging out and having a party all the time, when they eat the sugars and food in our mouths, they create acids, and those acids are what start to break down our enamel and allow cavities to break in. So activated charcoal, our black tooth powder. This guy, it's not just activated charcoal. Some tooth polishes are just activated charcoal. We opted to include more mouth-loving ingredients on top of the charcoal. But that guy goes in and it sucks up those toxins from the bacteria. But it also has a really nice side effect of brightening our teeth. Yeah. So I love this guy for coffee stains. If you've gotten a whitening, it's a really good way to keep your teeth extra white like throughout. It's not too abrasive, so it's only going to get surface stains, and it's not going to change the color of your tooth, but it removes anything stuck on your tooth so that you're able to
see the white.
Show off. Yeah, this one, it's really good. And the other thing that it's super awesome for that was a little bit unexpected is because it's so detoxifying. If you ever eat something like really rank that gives you that like nasty onion breath,
yes,
this is the perfect way to get rid of it really quickly.
Really?
Yeah. Oh. My husband likes tacos with lots of onions. He's like, I'm all for the onions. So he uses a lot of charcoal.
I love it. So you use it once a week?
Once a week to twice a month. I find that when you first start, it's good to use it like once a week, a little bit more often, so that you can really like get through those layers.
Yeah.
And then from there on, I find that I only use it once or twice a month, and it is still able to like keep my teeth bright.
Yeah, that's so cool. Honestly, so you use the regular toothbrush and then the charcoal together?
Yeah,
That's so amazing.
absolutely.
I do have another question. So when you explain how to use the tooth powder, you say dip, wet, dip, brush, and smile. Do you in between brush and smile, do you like wash your mouth after?
You can totally spit. I think on our drawers we do have spit. We've got cute little icons for it.
I love it.
In case you get lost and forget. The other thing you can do is, because it is clay and it's a slightly different texture, I got used to it immediately, but sometimes if you're not doing like a wet rinse, I think I naturally brush my teeth with like just water at the end to clear everything out. But you can totally just have a glass of water and do a little swoosh and spit, but everything is non-toxic, so you're welcome to swallow it if you choose, but keep in mind that's full of like the plaque and nasties that you're just pressed out of your mouth.
Don't want that. But you know what? It's funny that I had one client in Winnipeg once that she actually buys this for her mom. I don't think I told you that when I met you. She buys this for her mom because her mom, it's a little bit older. She can't spit or anything like that. She's in a wheelchair, so she just brush her teeth with this, and because it's natural, she can swallow it. Really, really cool. When she told me, it just made my heart so happy. I wish I would have told you before, but I'm glad I remember it now. Yeah, and it was really nice that she just buys for her mom because it's natural, so she can swallow it, and yeah, so it felt really nice.
That's so perfect. See, it just makes it a little bit easier. It's also nice to travel with, right? Because then you don't have to like put it in the extra bag.
Yeah, that's true. That was my question, because I do like a mouthwash after.
Yeah, I love that. I also really love, I'm a huge advocate for saltwater rinses. It's next to free. I make one about once a week. You can also use your tooth powder, but you do get a little bit more like grit, or like, you get the clay in your mouth if you mouthwash with it, but that allows the minerals to go in and kind of adjust the pH in your mouth to a more neutral pH.
I see.
But salt water is really antimicrobial. When your mouth is acidic, it starts to weaken the bonds in your enamel. So your enamel then is more prone to getting a little bit more wear. And we do want to protect our enamel and be nice to it. So swish with salt water, and that brings your mouth to a more neutral pH. And then within like a couple of minutes, you can start brushing your teeth again. Or if you don't do it all night, guilty, I sometimes forget, then doing that saltwater rinse is going to help to kill some of the bacteria because it's naturally antimicrobial, and restore the pH in your mouth before you brush your teeth again.
That's so cool. I have 2 more questions here for you.
I wanted to make sure that it was giving back to the planet and it was serving people in the way that I wanted to. Just like you guys, it was really important that we were a force for good. So Gaia is another word for Mother Earth. And I like to picture Mother Earth kind of smiling down and being like, this is a good thing. And the kind of flip side of that is it's made from clay and calcium carbonate and essential oils and salt, and everything comes directly from the earth with very little processing. Essential oils is the most processed thing that we have in our powders. So it's coming straight from Mother Earth, and we hope that it is something that Mother Earth is welcome to have back.
Here's another question for you.
My biggest thing for morning breath is it's all about the practice. So consistency is going to help rebalance your mouth, and you're already not going to get as bad morning breath. I use something called a tongue scraper. And it's this little copper gadget that you pull to the front of your mouth. That is a really neat way. It's an Ayurvedic practice to help to remove the plaque from your tongue that crawls up throughout the night. And if it's like really bad, I would recommend using the activated charcoal. You can use this as a brush, or you can turn it into a mouthwash by just adding a teaspoon to a mason jar of water. And that's going to help to remove some of the bacteria and detoxify so that you can get into better habits that prevent morning breath. And the last thing is, if you still have morning breath with those things, that can be a sign of poor digestion, and I would talk to a holistic nutritionist.
Yeah, love you. That's why we're so glad that we have Gaia Smiles with us.
It just means so much.
Yes, for sure. I'm just so happy that we got to do this live with you, because it's a very popular product. Our director loves it. Julie loves it. Everyone loves it. I don't think I've met a person in Portia that doesn't like Gaia Smiles. So it's a very, very popular product. We sell it all the time. I made a big mountain in the table there once, and everybody was just like, "Ooh, what is this?" So people get excited. That's why I'm so, so happy to be doing this with you. Thank you. You know what? If before we go, we are going to give you 15% off on all Gaia Smiles today at portia-ella.ca. Just have to use the code LOVEGAIA. So the code is LOVEGAIA. Get your tooth powder and make sure to use Love Gaia for 15% off.